Welcome to Cinema Therapy, Rocky. This is week 4, our reflection week. And today we are reflecting on where we've been so far as a class in 4 weeks together. And there are several questions or statements that I think we want to address directly with people who are considering taking this class, but maybe aren't sure, right? And there's three main objections people come into with this. And it's A, the time, B, the cost, and C, the identity. In other words, whether or not people feel they're a writer. So we're going to address these one at a time with the students speaking in their own words about that. So the first idea with the idea of the time is anybody who would like to speak to this. Before taking this class, I worried the time commitment would blank. Now I realize blank. Anybody have a feeling on that before taking this class? How you would fill in that? Go ahead, Jill.
Um, Before I took it, I was worried the time commitment would be a lot, but I've learned that you can put in as much time as you want to, or kind of there's some weeks you can kind of scale back if it's not a good week to put the time in. So it's all up to you.
Perfect, Jill. Good. Anybody else before I took the class in terms of time commit, Susan?
There's a lot of forgiveness in what Jill was just saying, in that recognizing we all do have lives. And so there's a broad understanding of what the responsibility is for each of us as students. Um, I think the flexibility that you offer, Robert, and that we give each other in the ways we help each other are not things that anyone would think to factor in because they're quite unique and lovely and helpful.
I'm so glad you said that. And Karen knows because it was in one of the recent blogs that we talk about that the class flexes to you all. And you all flex the class back the way you need it to, right? And that's individualized within our frame. It's not an oppressive top-down thing. So all I ask of you is to flex. Say something, do something, be something. It's yours, right? It really is a class built on agency. So thank you for that. Anybody else before I started the class in terms of time commitment? Wayne.
Before I started the class, I was convinced that I couldn't possibly do it because it was going to take too much time. So uh, I thought I was busy before. Now I'm really thinking I'm busy. But it's what's made it all worthwhile is the connection with the group. It's like it's like being on a team, and you know you get it. You help each other. One week is bad, and next week's great. Like life. So it's turned out to be just fine.
Beautiful, Wayne. Thank you so much. Anybody else in terms of time? Before I started the class, I thought the time would be, and now I realize. Yes, Sharon.
This is my third class, so I'm thinking you're talking about this class specifically.
Whatever works for you at any point of your journey.
Well, this is the third time, so I'm thinking before I was coming to class, I thought I needed to maybe not do so much and maybe do some art instead of writing. And I don't know, I think there was a big change in my direction because of one of the videos you showed. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it just hit the spot of where I thought I needed to be, and I'm like going, I need to finish this. So
So there's the now I realize the thing you didn't even know, and you refused your own call to adventure, which is, as we know,
right,
part of this. And once you
right.
realize what there was for you, you put new stakes into it. Says now I realize, and
Yes.
so yeah, that's an example of the hero's journey meeting life, and you answering that. So very nice, Sharon. Anybody else regarding time? Yes, Jennifer.
Um, I I too wondered, would I have enough time? And yet what I've found in going forward is that there's some sort of driving force about doing the writing. I mean, it grabs you and you
Yeah.
kind of like, whoa, this is fun. And I want, I find myself grabbing time,
Yeah,
thinking about it
me too.
when I'm doing something else and then trying to make a note, for later. And it's just very exciting. I love it.
I love what you just said. What I heard you say was about the flexibility of time and you creating time where you didn't know it existed before, using it in different ways than you thought you would before. That sounds like a very active and alive brain to me. I love that, Jennifer. Thanks so much. Karen, did you have something you wanted to add?
Um, just yeah, you find the time. And the more and what she said, the active brain, this is how the connection as medicine works too, because it keeps, it works so much for our cognitive and our self-esteem and our creativity and the connection of all of us. It's just the secret sauce that makes this better than anything traditional therapy could do for us.
Well, like you say, it's very uniquely met because it is defined and becomes the shape of you all, right? I lay
Yes.
out the stuff, you guys make it what it becomes, and I couldn't be more pleased. The second objection we talked about, and again, this is difficult for a lot of people. Talk about money. When I first heard about the class, I wasn't sure this investment would be worth it or that I could afford it. Looking back now, does anyone have anything they want to speak to on that? Because I know this is tough for a lot of people. It's hard to talk about. Sharon?
I just want to think of it as like an activity that is important to me, and it's building my character, and the therapy part of it is just so much bigger than any other therapy I ever had. For talk therapy, CBT, anything like that, and changing the way you behave or whatever, this is so much better because you have the depth of it, the feeling of riding your aesthetic distance. That is such uh what's the word? The conduit, I guess. Whatever, I'm trying to say big words.
I heard agency in that you feel more agency in this because you are kind of to Jennifer's point earlier about the active firing brain. You feel engaged in what you're doing, and much like, again, I'm very careful. This is not therapy. We know that it's not licensed. It's not,
Oh, it surely should be.
well, I thank you for that. And I mean this in the clinical medical sense, right? Yes, I'm a
Yeah.
PhD. Yes, I've done my studies. Yes, I know these things. And so
Right,
I'm
right,
very
right.
careful not to replace any other thing or say
Oh
it's something
no,
that
it's
it
a
could
good
sense.
good
However,
for
its
yeah.
title its title is intentional. Cinema therapy is there because of the feeling of that, and that you feel that is important. I want to honor and value that too. It's not to take away anything you're saying. We're going to stand in the light and say this is all true and real, and it gets to be that. So it's a yes and thank you, Sharon, for bringing that forward. Karen?
Yes, it's a huge yes, and because I talked to our therapist about that and about this specifically, and where traditional therapy, you go in there, you spend half your time breaking the ice. This gives us tools that when we get to talk to our therapist, we know more about what we need help with.
Interesting. I love that. I want to circle back to the monetary part of this and thank you both for diving into the therapy because there is a monetary component of that. Money I would spend on therapy, I feel good spending on this. It's equitable. So thank you for drawing that in. For anybody else, the cost of it and, how you've dealt with that. Let's go Susan, Jennifer, then Wayne. Susan.
I think it's always an issue for everyone, and so you have to start with that as
Well,
an
speak on your
acceptance.
own, not in terms of everyone. How for you?
For me, I've taken this course several times, and it's worth it. So I learned so much in the first go round that surprised me. And I did consider myself a writer. I hadn't written fiction and I hadn't written novels, but I loved writing. I loved expressing myself in writing. And so I took it thinking of it as the equivalent of a college course. I was an English major in college. So I thought this is like graduate work. I'm going to have an opportunity to work with a sort of specialist kind of guy in a amalgam of venues and aspects of what the class is. It's just completely unique. So I did it once, and then I couldn't resist. So you find ways, and I think what Sharon said was so important. It was a gift to myself, and something that, and that's what I think Sharon said too. She did it for herself. And we don't do that in life very often. And when we find something that makes a difference and helps us become a better person or understand ourselves better, it's a huge gift from the universe. So
I heard you say gift, and if I can take that even a step, not further, but at least laterally, to say an investment into yourself. The same way you might,
Precisely.
we talked about therapy, the same way you might invest into a gym or to a trainer. This
yes,
is
yeah,
right, an investment
yeah,
in that way.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you, Susan.
yes.
Let's go, Jennifer, then Wayne.
Yes, well, the cost was daunting to me, is in its way, but I find I really appreciate that you are open to a pay plan that works for different people. And I think the investment is so worthwhile because for me, it's just like opening doors in my head that I've not been able to funnel in those directions before. So it's very exciting. It's very creative. And the community is the other piece of the investment too. Just meeting all of you and being a part of this is just very much worthwhile. Yes, definitely.
I've heard community, I've heard team. I think that's a big part of what we're doing. Wayne, in terms of the investment?
Well, initially it was the investment was daunting to me, quite honestly, and I thought that was going to run me away. But what tipped the scale for me was I really believe in your program, and so I felt like I needed to support that. And so as a way for maybe we could both get something out of it.
I sure do appreciate that. And, Wayne is someone I know early in your path who really struggled with the idea of seeing yourself as a writer. And really, we took our time over several courses piecing together what this thing would be that has become Language of Quiet Things, that now has a clear vision that is rolling strongly toward the goal of being done here at the end of this term. Your commitment to yourself, to this program, and belief in this has been extremely admirable, and I thank you for it. Okay. So that's the cost. We talked about the time, we talked about the cost, and then there is this identity thing, which we've touched on a little, but I want to add this. If someone told me they weren't a writer, but were thinking about taking a class, I would tell them what? Because maybe you've heard it, maybe you brought this up to other people. Karen and I hear it a lot because we're on the front line of getting feedback. These are the things people talk about: the time, the cost, and then that's not me, right? I couldn't see myself as a writer. That's just not something that's possible. What would you tell someone who believed that about themselves, Karen?
Everyone has a very important story to tell. And we are there to help you every step of the way. We meet you where you're at, whether you've never written anything before. We have the option of the art instead. We've talked about, people could come in and write music too as an opportunity. I mean, this program is so customizable, compared, whatever you come in with, whether you think you're a writer or not, whatever you want to be, we are a team that we are going to help you get there. And gosh, Wayne, what Wayne said, Wayne, for saying you never thought you're a writer. Same with you, Sharon, saying you never thought you're a writer. Oh my gosh, the things that you guys are coming up with are amazing. And what you give back to this program helps all of us. And, can I go back to talk about the money thing too? Market value for what you get with this group. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't get the same thing from any college course. out there, period. 'Cause, I mean, the time Robert puts into it and then the time we all put into it together, I mean, really, it should be twice as much as you charge for all the hours, the marketable hours we do put into it because we just love it so much. And yeah, I'm just, yeah, your biggest fan.
Well,
Our biggest fan, because it's what we've built together.
I'm very glad to hear you add that to it, that, it doesn't become, Susan, who is one of the founding members, and I talked about this from the beginning, this quote unquote Robert factor. I appreciate anything that is, of course, said complimentary. It's nice to hear things. What I hear more and more of you saying that I appreciate is the we. I hear you talk about us. I hear you talk about the community, the connection. That's what it is. It really was.
Person that has been in this course from the beginning has contributed to what it has become.
Right.
Yeah.
And to that end of what Karen said regarding the art, I just want to show very briefly that one of our lovely students, this is Paula, aka Jackie, is a painter, and with Stand By Me, our last film, she every week would paint something as opposed to writing something, and it was interpretive based on the film, based on what was in other people's writings. It was a dance. And by the way, to that end, we are engaging the lovely peoples of Dance with Parkinson's, Sarah Robichaux and David Leventhal. That could this be a dance cinema therapy program? Yes, the lovely folks of LSVT, they're looking at this with the movie King's Speech. Could this be something, artistically in terms of voice, which could be singing, which could be all sorts of things? Yes, we're here for you. To our rock steady people, there are rock steady boxers in the class. Karen's got the gloves right now. And we're specifically speaking to you all. If some of you don't feel like you're writers, Ryan Cotton, the CEO of Rocksteady, talked about that feeling of walking into the gym and saying, that's not me. I'm not a boxer. This is the same thing. You are, for the same reason Rocksteady works, this works because of us, because you're with us. You'll be heard, understood, supported, loved, challenged, all in this space together. And that's not just people with Parkinson's, that's care partners, family members, healthcare providers. You're all welcome in this space. And even if you don't see yourself as a writer, like Karen said, there's more to you. And we're happy to help you unlock that, Susan.
If someone said to me, and it has happened repeatedly, I'm not a writer. They push that away. I would start asking them questions. What does that mean to you? What do you mean by writer? It sounds like you have some ideas, and to engage them in the process of articulating what their experience is, and then matching that with what my experience has been. Because you can't envision, nobody can envision what Karen was just talking about. This group energy dynamic thing, it's probably hard to express, to articulate, but it's easy. You always feel it. Just with Jennifer just now, you feel the authenticity in their delight and experience of working with this program the way that it's evolved.
And I can put it in filmic terms because for our Rocksteady folks, the movie is Rocky, that, Adrian, as we saw in our scene today, never believed that she could be lovable. It was her greatest fear, right? She was the bird in the cage. And Rocky, too, believed he was a creep. But somehow they unlocked each other and found way more in each other by connecting, to the point of Rocky taking on something he never could or would do, which is, are you kidding me? For the world championship, I'm a ham and egger, I'm a bum. But Adrian said, I don't think you're a bum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what we say in this class all the time.
Exactly.
You don't think we're bums?
Yeah, Sharon.
I've probably been in with this program for about a year and a half, maybe going on that. So when Karen first told me about it, I was really reluctant and didn't really want to do the Back to the Future. But then when we got to the spring, it was I think
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, right? I'm like, gosh, who even likes that movie? It was my feeling. I didn't even know what the movie was about. I couldn't get it when I was a kid. When I was young, I'm like, what is this movie about? I don't get it. So, but when I saw Karen was like all her writing is so beautiful online, which she supports for the YOPN and all of them. She's just so beautiful writer. So I thought, wow, she says I can do it. I guess I believe her.
Wow.
And plus, I didn't think of myself as a writer at all. In my career, I was an art director, and anybody that came to me, I said, I'm no writer. Go get a writer. So,
So I think you've really pinpointed something beautiful, a couple things beautifully, which is that self-imposed prison, right? Back to one of our initial takes here that we all do, Parkinson's or otherwise. It has to do with identity, it has to do with confidence, it has to do with trauma, it has to do with the difficulty of the world. All of these things are
right.
real. And in this room, every single one of us, to Karen's point, and as we're hearing Sharon and others say, are here for each other. There's this phrase we always like to say in comedy sports, and I've said in my coaching days, which is I've got your back.
Right.
And when everybody has everyone else's back, everyone's supported. And that's who and what we are, and not just within our time period of the class, but beyond that, through emails and phone calls and Google Drives, we support each other. We're here. So, with all of that in mind, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody, not only for being here for the class for yourselves, being here for each other, but also being here for the outreach, because we're a program that's been around, in some form for 5 years now, and finding its way and, doing this dramatic thing, which is trying to get people to understand and accept that connection is medicine. The same way that way back in 2007, 2008, people were stumbling around with the idea that exercise is medicine. No more stumbling with that. Well, we believe connection is medicine is exactly the same thing. And we're not the only purveyors of that, but we want to be leaders in that. And this intervention is a way to experience that. So, with that in mind, I put the offer once again out there to say that about a week and a half from now, on Wednesday, August 5th, we're going to have our next Rocky Cinema Therapy course starting up, a new cohort, opportunity-wise. And we hope you'll sign up and hope you'll check it out, even if you don't think it's for you right now. Come meet us, come to one of our Jam for Joys, come play with us, come talk to fellow writers and see how it could be, and you could be much more than you expected. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You, bye.